Life in the Garden of Eden, based on Genesis chapter 2. In the very beginning, when the world was still fresh and new, God decided to make a very special home, a place full of peace, beauty, and joy. So God planted a wonderful garden, a perfect place full of life. It was called the Garden of Eden. Everywhere you looked, there were tall trees with juicy fruits and colorful flowers that filled the air with sweet smells. Rivers of clear water flowed through the land, and the grass was soft beneath the feet. The animals lived happily, lions, rabbits, elephants, birds, all moving peacefully together. God looked at his creation and smiled. Then he formed a man from the dust of the ground. God gently breathed into his nose the breath of life, and the man opened his eyes for the very first time.
Your name is Adam. This is your home. You may enjoy every tree and every fruit in this garden, except for one. Do not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for if you do, you will surely die.
Adam looked around in amazement. He saw rivers shining in the sunlight, tall trees swaying in the wind, and animals playing all around him. He felt joy and peace because everything was good. One day, God brought all the animals to Adam so that he could give them names.
You will be called giraffe, you'll be elephant, and you shall be rabbit.
It is not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper just right for him.
This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman.
Now Adam was no longer alone. Together they could care for the garden, enjoy its beauty, and share their hearts with one another. Adam and Eve lived happily in the Garden of Eden. They worked together to care for the plants, water the flowers, and look after the animals. Every morning, the sun rose over the hills, filling the garden with golden light. Every evening, the sky turned soft and peaceful as they rested under the stars. But the best part of all was that God himself came to walk with them. Adam and Eve could hear his voice and talk with him. They told him about their day, and he spoke to them as a loving father. There was no fear, no sadness, and no pain, only love and joy in God's presence. In the middle of the garden stood two special trees, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God had told them not to eat from the second tree. Adam and Eve listened carefully and obeyed, because they trusted God completely. Sometimes, when they walked near the tree, they would stop and look at it. The fruit looked beautiful, but they remembered God's words.
We have so many other fruits to enjoy.
Yes, we will obey God because his word is good.
The garden was peaceful and full of joy. The rivers flowed gently, the birds sang cheerfully, and the air was full of life. Adam and Eve had everything they needed. They never felt hungry, tired, or afraid. They were surrounded by beauty, friendship, and God's love. Adam loved to explore, finding new animals and naming them. Eve loved to plant flowers and care for the young ones. Together they laughed, played, and thanked God for all that he had given them. Every moment in Eden was filled with peace. There was no fighting, no sadness, no darkness, only light, love, and harmony. God's presence filled their hearts, and they knew that he was always with them. The Garden of Eden was truly a picture of God's perfect love, a place where heaven and earth met, where everything worked in harmony. Adam and Eve were happy because they obeyed God and trusted his words. They lived in a world where everything was good, and every day was filled with joy. And so, in that beautiful garden, Adam and Eve walked with God as his children. They enjoyed his creation and lived in perfect peace. The Garden of Eden reminds us that God made the world out of love and care. He wants us to take care of what he has given us, the earth, the animals, and each other. When we listen to his voice and follow his ways, our lives become full of joy, just as it was in the beginning, because everything God makes is good, and his love never ends.